Today on CCX News, new laws take effect. We get a local state senator's perspective on ones she authored. Senator Ann Rest of New Hope sponsored 3 of the new laws that went into effect January 1st. She spoke with reporter Emily Haugen about them.
Of the host of new Minnesota laws, Senator Ann Rest had her name on 3. The first, a ban on binary triggers, a device that allows guns to fire 2 shots with 1 pull and release.
What I believe it does is reduce the likelihood of serious injury.
CCX Media covered a case involving a binary trigger in New Hope in September. Rest says this also was used in the fatal first responder shooting in Burnsville last year.
That seemed like a good time to ban them.
The other 2 bills with Rest's name on them fell under the health sector. The first, abortion-related coverage.
If they choose termination, if they choose an abortion, the right to do that is protected in our state.
This law requires health plans to provide coverage for abortions and abortion-related services without pre-authorization.
If the doctor orders it, the patient is to be granted that care.
Also in the health insurance sector, hair prostheses or medical wigs for cancer patients are now covered.
There are a lot of women, especially maybe women are more sensitive to it, for whom that was a real challenge to pay for that out of pockets.
This bill was authored by late Senator Carrie Dietzich, who had ovarian cancer. Dietzich died from that cancer just before 2025 began. And Rest says this was personal.
Very meaningful to her to do something for other people.
Emily Haugen, CCX News.
The Minnesota legislature convenes on January 14th with special elections on January 28th to determine control of both the House and Senate. With much at stake, Senator Warren Limmer of Maple Grove emphasizes the need for serious budget discussions. Shannon Sladden has more in today's Newsmakers.
As you may know, the first year in a biennium is a budget year. We have some serious issues to talk about. We need to have a family discussion about that 40% tax increase or spending increase from last year, and that triggers a $10 billion need for new taxes. Now, those are bills that I did not support, but that's going to put a tremendous pressure on our taxpayers. Quite honestly, with the tied vote now in the House coming up, there's going to be no new spending increases in the state of Minnesota. And I'm sure there's going to be a focus on how do we trim that excess spending back. The economy hasn't come around yet, so I don't know where that money's coming from. So we have some serious discussion to have.
And how do you think those discussions will go this year in comparison to before, now that the House is evenly divided, slim majority for the DFL in the Senate?
Yeah, 1-vote majority in the Senate. Those senators are looking at a re-election in the next year and a half. They'll be out pounding on doors. That means that they're going to have a lot of explaining to do. Quite honestly, I think they're looking for a life raft to correct the course so that they can brag about how they cut spending in the state of Minnesota. We're not ready for that huge of an increase in spending. That's just incredible.
All right. And of course, it's a bonding year, so people will be talking about projects. What projects are you working on?
You know, it used to be the bonding used to be in the second year. Then politicians could go back home and brag about the pork that they brought back to their district. We did not have a bonding bill last year, so that triggers added discussion this year. Everyone wants something, and what that means, and for the people that don't know what a bonding bill is, it basically is using the state credit rating to get a loan to take care of at low interest rates, and then using that money for needed infrastructure, basically, back home in little districts. Maple Grove has one on their community center, very popular community center. It's being remodeled. That bonding program has not been fully taken care of. City of Medina is looking at a water treatment program, just like we did for the city of Corcoran just 2 years ago. And so, and even Greenfield has a little road that we had half the funding for, and we're going back to get that as well.
Lots of voices at the table. It's going to be hard to see who comes out on top.
Yeah, that's true. And we have very limited projects that we're given. So it's everything's up in the air for now.
All right. Are you pretty busy now? Excited to get back to work?
Yeah, I really am. It seems like it's been ages since we were in, but it was only in May when we got out. Busy summer for the Limmer family. And so, and we're expecting number 2 grandchild.
Congratulations.
And so we're looking forward to that. Our first one just turned 2. And so we spent last weekend down in Rochester.
Well, the holidays will be fun at your house.
They always are.
Thank you very much for being here today, Senator Warren Limmer, Maple Grove. We appreciate you.
New this year, a new location for a winter tradition in Plymouth. The city's 36th annual Fire and Ice Festival will take place this year at Plymouth Creek Playfield. The city previously held the event on Parker's Lake. However, in recent years, including last year, the event had to be canceled due to unsafe ice conditions. The switch to Plymouth Creek Playfield lessens the risk for uncooperative weather. The event is set for Saturday, February 1st. In Maple Grove, a unique opportunity to warm up in an unlikely place. Reservations are now available to experience some time inside a wood-fired mobile sauna at Maple Grove's Central Park. Hour-and-a-half-long sessions are available between February 4th through 10th. You can reserve a shared sauna experience for $25, or you can book a private session for a group of 6 for $125.
After a 5-0 start, the Champlin Park boys basketball team lost both the games at the Granite City Classic. The Rebels looking to get back on track as they faced rival Anoka. Jay Wilcox has highlights.
Champlin Park coming in at 5-2 to face 8-1 Anoka in a good boys basketball matchup. Peyton Badani lights it up in the first half for Anoka with 19. He scores 30 total. Tyler Wagner nails a 3 from the top of the key for Champlin Park, and it's tied at 25-25. Then Wagner drives from the wing and hammers it down for a 40-37 lead, but the Rebels trailed Jesse Jefferson's Tornadoes 41-40 at halftime. Second half, and Preston Toki drives baseline for the big dunk on his way to a 23-point night. But Anoka surges. Badani finds Brody Lockinen for the drive to make it a 10-point lead. The Tornadoes lead by as much as 11. But Champlin Park closes strong. Mo Jallo with the second of back-to-back steals for layups as the Rebels close the gap. And they seal the win at the line. Wagner scores 40 in all as Champlin Park takes a thriller 86-85 over Anoka. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
After winning 2 out of 3 games at a holiday tournament in Proctor, the Osseo boys hockey team returned home to play their first game of 2025 Thursday night. The Orioles in the all-white with orange and black trim hosting the Scarlets of Mankato West. First period, West turns it over on their own end. Nice stick handling down the slide by Osseo's Travis Tuzignac. He scores, and it's 1-0 Orioles just 2.5 minutes into the game. Mankato West ties it just over 2 minutes later. Isaac Ullman scores on the short side. It's a 1-1 game less than 5 minutes in. Remarkably, there's no more scoring for the final 54 minutes of the game. Both goalies end the night with 40 saves. Gavin Fino for Osseo and Mason Schreiber for Mankato West. The game ends in a 1-1 tie. The Orioles are back on the ice Saturday afternoon against Spring Lake Park Coon Rapids. At the halfway mark of the regular season, the Providence Academy boys hockey team is now 7-5-1 on the year. The Lions faced a tough Orono team at home on Thursday. Chaz Moots has the highlights.
Providence Academy winners of 3 of their last 4 games. Orono 6-5-2 on the season. First period, Spartans starting hot. Lachlan Hoffman puts away Jackson Knight's shot attempt. Orono came ready to play. They were up 3-0 after 1. Lions goaltender Owen Villagomez trying to stop the floodgates in the second. Spartans with a free look on net, but a nice stop by the junior to keep it a 3-0 game. Just a few minutes later, though, Orono in the O-zone again. Trey Londa, top right corner snipe. That was the senior forward its second goal of the game. Then later in the second period, Lana with a steal in the neutral zone. Nice move to get by Villa Gomez, give him a hat trick, all Orono over Providence Academy, 8-1. In Plymouth, Chaz Moots, CCX Sports.
Catching crappies during ice fishing season is the topic for this week's CCX Ice Fishing Tip. Here's Terry Tuma.
I recently been asked what are the 3 best approaches to catch crappies in the wintertime. We're talking ice fishing, of course, and one is going to be the sort of the standard is a tungsten jig tipped with either live bait like wax worms or wigglers, and then 2, plastic. These plastics, which this is a new plastic by Clam, but it needs to be, shall we say, tough, sort of a subtle movement and choosing the right color. So that's another big factor. Then 2, using jigging spoons. Again, here you can tip these with with wax worms or crappie minnows. And 2, when you're talking about crappie minnows, when we're fishing crappies, we don't want to just use crappie minnows. Small shiners can work very well, and so can fathead. So here again, we have to do some experimentation. Then from there, we'll just jump to a bobber system. And a bobber system, again, is very, very productive. This is sort of a stationary setup, but here again, 2, bobber system for a second hole application or for a tough bite. So we got a lot of choices here, and make sure that you plan these out, which you're going to use throughout the given day before you even step on the ice. Have a great day ice fishing.